A brand new Marilyn Monroe biopic is streaming on Netflix. Yahoo Finance's Allie Canal joins us with the details. One might assume it'd be controversial, as everything is around Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, everything pretty controversial. This blonde movie has been making waves on the festival circuit. Got a 14-minute standing ovation during the Venice Film Festival, but reviews right now, they're not so strong. Audience score 38%, critic score 48%, and a lot of people are sort of criticizing this, saying that it's exploiting Marilyn Monroe. I still think a lot of other viewers are going to be curious about it. They're going to want to tune in. But when I think about something like Blonde, obviously an A-list cast, Ana de Armas, wasn't a cheap movie to make. I think this paints an interesting picture about Netflix's movie strategy moving forward. And if you think about some of the movies that Netflix has released, The Gray Man being another recent example, they spent $200 million on that movie. But the big question now is, will it be worth it in the long run, especially when we think about Netflix's bottom line, their emphasis on profitability? If we take a look at some of those viewership numbers for The Gray Man, you'll see that there's a pretty steep drop-off in weeks 2 and weeks 3. It actually fell 60% in week 2, another 46% in week 3, along with some of those other big titles out there. Now, all that being said, that's not to say a film like The Gray Man isn't a success. If you take a look at how many hours were viewed, 245 million hours viewed for that in its first 28 days, so still pretty significant. But I don't think that's enough for Netflix to justify the $200 million
versus the series that stay a flatter number.
Exactly, yeah, and I think too, Netflix might need to adjust its strategy a little bit. Analysts that I've spoken with said that they're leaving money on the table by not releasing some of these films in theaters first, maybe doing a smaller theatrical window, more wider theatrical release, and then licensing it out potentially to other platforms or keeping it on the Netflix platform. So that's something I think the company is going to have to deal with moving forward.
Very interesting.
No, it's true. Netflix obviously still figuring quite a few things out. And speaking of that, though, a lot of people, though, talking about Netflix's show on serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer's life. What's been the reaction there? Yeah,
and the reaction, I mean, if you're just talking from a strictly number perspective, this show went bonkers on its debut. 196.2 million hours watched since its September 21st launch. It's the biggest audience since the return of Stranger Things, and has also beat out the debuts of other top Netflix shows like Inventing Anna and You. Now, this show in particular largely tells the story from the point of view of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims, also a big emphasis on the police incompetence there and how Dahmer was able to really get away with this for so long. So one of the big issues here for the victims' families is that they believe that Netflix is exploiting this story. They allegedly were not contacted about the movie at large, about the victims' statements. Now, this is all public record, so Netflix didn't have to necessarily do that. But I think, you know, it speaks to the larger question that we as a society have, our fascination with serial killers. But should we be giving this as much attention? I just don't know. I'm not a philosopher, so I will not go deeper into that.
There's nothing our about fascination with serial killers.
Yeah,
steer clear of that one. Did you see it?
I'm a little scared to see this one.
I'm terrified.
I've heard it's very gruesome and very dark. So, but again, the numbers speak for itself, and if you're a company like Netflix,
I would never sleep again.
Exactly.
Allie Canal, good stuff. Thank you so much.